of the 60s and 70s personally, of that time period. Like, they came out in like 65, 66, if you will, with my generation. And they went on to do Tommy, the great things, Quadrophenia, etc. This was in between Tommy and in between Quadrophenia. So if you know anything about the history, if you know anything about the history of the Who, this is a big this is a pretty big album for them too. It has some of their biggest, most well-known songs on here if they're of their catalog, such as big songs like Bob O'Reilly or Won't Get Fooled Again. Um, the story about, and I'm gonna get to the track listing in a sec, but just want to give a backstory for just a couple of the songs really quick. Bob O'Reilly was supposed to be um an album, was supposed to be part of a new rock opera for Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey to do for another Who album, but instead they said, let's just take this one track and put it on their fifth album, which was later Who's Next, which has some ups, has some downs. I will admit, after listening to it again and again before we did our podcast tonight and discussing it, overall just a very bombastic sound, some acoustic sounds, some horns thrown in there here and there. Overall, just a really good rockin' 70s album. Led Zeppelin was just coming onto the scene too at the time too, and this album really showed not Keith Moon, Pete Townsend's the synthesizer for some of the songs, Bob O'Reilly or Won't Get Fooled Again. I'll get to those in a second, but just one of my favorite albums of theirs, truthfully. Probably their biggest, most successful one, I would say, outside of doing Tommy and Quadrophenia, of course. But needless to say, this is it starts off really big. I'll get to the track list in a sec too, but it starts off really big and bombastic with Bob O'Reilly, and then we get over to the last track too. But in the middle, there's some hidden gems and some tracks that I thought were actually a little bit lesser than I originally remember hearing them. So, anyways, I'm gonna get into it, shall we? The track listing for Bob O'Reilly, it's only 9 songs, but it is, needless to say, though, a lot of really big bombastic songs of the 70s. A lot of people may not remember these songs or not, but if of a certain time period. But anyways, Bob O'Reilly kicks off the record. No surprise here. This is actually not a 10 out of 10, believe it or not. Actually, it's iconic. It's played on the radio a lot by all those classic rock radio stations. Timeless track overall. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 for its iconicness, but what prevents it from going to a 10 out of 10 for me personally is the fact that it's probably like the one outside of, well, I'll get to a second, but Won't Get Fooled Again. This song in particular is played a lot on many radio stations. If I'd say it's the Who's signature song, arguably one of them for sure. But yeah, just a 9 out of 10 for kicking off the record with Bob O'Reilly. Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend trading vocals on this is phenomenal in my opinion, and it really showed how they were evolving from just a guitar heavy band to a synthesizer heavy band too, which was pretty interesting over their career too. Bargain, we stepped down a little bit here. We actually go down to roughly about a 7, maybe a 7.5. It's not my favorite, but it does. Roger Daltrey's vocals specifically are just, he's known to be a powerhouse singer. Even today, I've seen the Who twice live. I've seen Roger Daltrey on my own as a solo artist without Pete Townsend and the Who as the band. He is a powerhouse vocalist. He's known for his loud I'm not sure the specific terms. He's a powerhouse vocalist though, and a lot of people have studied his songs and whatnot too. But yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for Bargain. Love Ain't for Keeping. Kind of short, nothing too crazy here. I enjoy this one though. Needless to say, this is about a 6. Could go up to a 6.5. Truthfully, it's a sweet song. It's there to. I wouldn't say it's filler, but I'd say it's there for good purposes. Of course, I like it though. But that's a 6.5 for me. Then we go down to My Wife. The only song written by another member of the band besides Pete Townsend, which is John Entwistle, who died in 2002 of a cocaine overdose. My Wife, one thing I like about the song is that it starts off so kind of, not necessarily super quiet, but it starts off kind of quiet, and then it builds this bombastic, like the horns in the background are just like just incredible. I love those horns in the background. I mean, not everyone may or may not, but it's still a strong song nonetheless. I'm sitting about a 7, could go up to 7.5 for my wife. Now, for those of you who don't know much about deep cuts on records, or people who know records as a whole, this next song, I'm just going to preface by saying I love the different parts of this song. I wish the song was more widely known by rock members of the classic rock community, but the song is over by the last song on the side one, which is 6 minutes and 14 seconds long. Pete Townsend, it's funny how it's amazing how it also reminded me of like if ELO did not have strings almost, and if you had there's different parts to it. Like starts off with the piano. It starts off with and then it goes into the verses and Pete Townsend's vocals and whatnot too during the bridge and whatnot too. But I love the different different elements, how it changes tempo, changes time, it changes like sound in general. It's just a really nice, powerful song. Because when the song first starts, like, oh, this is gonna be a ballad or whatever. No, but there's a lot of harder rock elements in this song too. This is actually a 9 out of 10 for me. I love this song much more than I thought I did. So the song is over is a 9 out of 10 for me. Called The Song Is Over from the end of side one. We go down to side two now with Getting in Tune. Another 7.5 out of 10, roughly in the sevens for sure. Nothing super crazy. I do like it. I love the lyrics. I should have prefaced by saying this, but one thing I love about the Who in general is that like their lyrics are very like in your face. You know, like where people try to put us down, talking about my generation. I hope I die before I get older. No, these are the powerful lyrics by a powerful lyricist known as Pete Townsend. I should have mentioned that from the beginning. Forgive me. But Getting in Tune is one of those tracks that I really enjoy as well. Like I said, but it's nothing too crazy. I do like it a lot though with a 7. Nothing super crazy there, but I do enjoy it. Going Mobile. This was actually, I didn't realize it says right here on the Wikipedia page. I forgot that this was actually part of the Lifehouse project that was going on. It was a track that was going to be on their album called Lifehouse that never happened, but instead they put it on this record here. So that's completely forgot about that actually. I dove into when I was much younger. I dove into their catalog a lot, like as a Who fanatic, and I was like, I can't wait to see them live. And I saw them live twice already. It's great, great band. But Going Mobile, another 7. Nothing super crazy. I do like it though, nonetheless. Behind Blue Eyes, it's a 9.5 for me. I have a lot of nostalgia purposes with this song for Behind Blue Eyes. For whatever reason, it's funny. The songs start between the song's acoustic guitar intro and the harmonies between between Pete Townsend and John Entwistle's background vocals. It truly shows how music can take different shapes and forms and have different parts and elements to one 3-minute and 42-second song. And I really enjoy this one a lot. Behind Blue Eyes, one of my favorite ones, truthfully. Probably their most covered song aside from Bob O'Reilly. So that's just a big one there. But a 9.5 for Behind Blue Eyes. When I saw it live, it was just Pete, Roger, and a cellist playing this song. It was really, really, really cool. Then we get to the only, quite possibly one of the most anthemic songs I think I've ever heard in my lifetime, with one of the most high-pitched screams in the middle towards the end of the song, with Roger Daltrey basically screaming his vocals out with Won't Get Fooled Again. This song is an incredible journey of a song, musically speaking. It's not just, revolt or protests or whatever. It's a powerful 8-minute song. 8 minutes and 32 seconds long. And it's funny. It is one of the most streamed songs on Spotify if you go listen to it. And it closes out the album on such a bombastic note, and it's awesome. I love Won't Get Fooled Again to death. And whenever I listen to it on vinyl, because I have a vinyl copy of it from 71, I always try my best to. I don't try my best. I listen to it all the way through. I love how it just ends with the record ends on such a powerful, high energy, high powered note with Won't Get Fooled Again. I love this track. One of my favorites in general from The Who. One of my favorite classic rock quote unquote songs of all time. Up there for me. Not quite my top 30 or top 40 songs of all time, but it's a powerful song. And I think it just starts off with the organ, starts off with the keyboard, and just goes into this like different parts, different elements here and there. I feel like some people forget about how powerful the music can be, and I think Won't Get Fooled Again shows how you can have music that's really, really powerful. So overall, though, it's funny. So as an album, though, I mean, yes, you have your hits on here. You have your Bob O'Reillys, you have your Behind Blue Eyes, you have your Won't Get Fooled Again, the big three of the off the record. But some of the deeper cuts, like you have stuff like The Song Is Over or Bargain or Getting in Tune or My Wife. Yeah, these are lesser known songs to the general public, but still overall like good plus songs nonetheless. From an album that I believe is one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most pioneering or pivotal hard rock, quote unquote, albums of all time. With stuff like Won't Get Fooled Again there. And Pete Townsend is one of those few guitarists, in my opinion. Just want to say this about him really quick. Pete Townsend is one of those guys where he is one of the few guitarists who can truly create a world with their instrument. He's a guitarist who defined his era and his time. And if you've never seen The Who or have never heard of this band or whatever, dive into this record, dive into their catalog, get to know their material. They're one of the best to ever come together. Are just four guys who just were a combustible force. Needless to say, as a band, if you dive into their history, but no, great album overall. So overall, for Who's Next from 1971, my pick, I'm sitting at an 8 out of 10. Because the lesser known songs the deeper cuts are still hold up a strong weight for me, but the hits kind of like drive it higher than I originally had like a 7.5 out of 10, but I'm going up to an 8 out of 10 for this one because of some of iconicness of just how powerful the songs can be and showing how a 3-minute pop song can have like different parts of a string section or like on Behind Blue Eyes, whatever, or how an 8-minute hard rock song like Won't Get Fooled Again can hit the top 40 at the time and be like played like crazy still to this day. So needless to say, one of my favorite albums by there, probably my favorite album of theirs, truthfully. So I'm saying about an 8 out of 10 for the Who's Next from 1971.